Hey everybody, it's Ricki Heller from rickiheller.com. I'm a writer, editor, and book coach, and I'm here to help you get your words on the page so you can finally write that book and share your message with the world. So today I want to talk about some rules of writing. Now, these came from the novelist Colm Toibin. He's an Irish novelist, fiction writer, a creative writing professor. So his realm is fiction, which is not what I do. But I felt that so many of these rules, he has 10 rules for writing, so many of them were relevant to those of us who write nonfiction, and particularly when I work with women who are writing memoir, that I wanted to share them with you and sort of give my little spin on what he says. So I'm going to go through them one at a time and you can tell me what you think. So the first one is finish everything you start. Now, what does he mean by that? Again, this is my interpretation, but the idea here is that you don't just want to leave things in the middle. By finish, that doesn't mean you have to perfect everything you start. It just means you have to finish writing your first draft, because that way you learn consistency. You learn that, our creative minds, for those of us who are creative writers or in any creative realm, artists, musicians, and so on, we have this tendency to always have new ideas and we want to come up with new things. And so we start something, we're really excited about it, and then we move on to the next thing. And before you know it, we're tired of that first thing. We kind of dump it in the middle, right? So this first rule, to finish everything you start, I think is very apropos. When you finish it, then you can decide, do I want to keep going with it or not? I think that's a really good rule. Okay, number two, get on with it. This is perfect for me anyway, because so many times when it comes to writing time, so I've set aside specific times every day where I'm going to write. I can come up to the computer. I'm like, I don't feel like it. Not today. Not today, Satan, right? Like, I just don't want to do it. However, if you just take the attitude of just get on with it. Those of you or those of us, as I was before, in 9 to 5 jobs, don't get to show up to work and say, I don't feel like doing that presentation today. I don't feel like finishing that particular report today. If it's due today, it has to get done. If you have a specific task that must be done on Mondays, even if you don't feel like it, you do it. So just get on with it. Think of your work in the same way, your writing work in the same way, and you can get on with that writing. You don't have to be in the mood. You'll be shocked and surprised at how sometimes some of your best work can come out of those moments where you start and you don't feel like it. All right, number three, stay in your mental pajamas all day. What the heck does he mean by that? Well, I love this one because to me, what this means is mentally, we're going to remain incredibly relaxed and in our most relaxed mental state. And why that's important is when you're writing your first draft, when you're first getting to the material and the very first time it's coming out of your head and onto the page or onto the screen, you want to have that relaxed mindset. You don't want the inner critic, as they call it. You don't want the judgment. You don't want to be looking at every word and trying to assess how good it is as you work your way through. You want to be relaxed, let the writing flow, let everything feel like a pajama day. So that's number three, stay in your mental pajamas all day. Number four, stop feeling sorry for yourself. This is a great one. I mean, and as an entrepreneur, I feel this. I feel this strongly, right? Because so many of us, when we start our entrepreneurial journeys, we look around us, we look at our role models and our mentors, and we see how far ahead they are. And we think, oh, woe is me. A, I'll never get there. B, this is impossible. Poor me, poor me. What's wrong with me? Why can't I get it done? Et cetera, et cetera. The idea, though, is to stop that sort of victim mentality and just do it. When you stop feeling sorry for yourself for the fact that you're not, you were rejected by another publisher, this particular agent doesn't want your book, I gave my draft to so and so and they didn't like it, the beta readers didn't like it, whatever it may be, when you can get beyond that mentality then you can really thrive and really get your work out there. And the truth is, if you think about writers who were incredibly successful, they were able to transcend that kind of feeling of being sorry for themselves. So I'm thinking about William Faulkner, for instance, who worked in a post office to make money selling stamps, and he had lots of choice words about the customers and the bosses at the post office. But at the same time, he needed to do that to make money. And on the side, it was his side hustle. He wrote his books at that point, right? So many writers are able to get beyond their immediate circumstances and not feel sorry about where they are right now, because they're able to see where they want to go, and because producing the work is more important to them than what they see happening at the very moment. Another quote that comes to mind that's related to business around this idea is, don't compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 32 or whatever later chapter you want to think it is. So when I started my business, I was looking at the women who'd been in business longer than me, who were making millions of dollars. That was probably their chapter 10, 12, 20, whatever it was. I was only at chapter 1. And so for me to assume that I could do what they did was probably unrealistic, right? Maybe there are some people who can do that, but to take that kind of comparison didn't serve me at all. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. I guess that goes back to the previous one. Get on with it. And then the last one I'm going to do today is his number 5. No alcohol, sex, or drugs while working. Well, those of you who know me know that because I had candida overgrowth, no alcohol. I've been no alcohol since 2009 because I can't have it with candida. No drugs. I'm not a big drug person, and I'm definitely not a prescription drug person. So that one's easy. The sex, all right, I think I can manage that while I'm working. So again, he's probably being a little bit facetious there, but what that comes down to is, when you're working, focus on work. You don't want distractions around you. And in fact, some of the later points that I'm going to discuss next time, I'm going to do 6 through 10 next time. They also relate to this whole concept of distraction. So I'm going to just read them through again. I wrote them down so I remember them. I'm going to just read them through for you again. Finish everything you start. Get on with it. Let's get going. Let's do this writing. Stay in your mental pajamas all day. Love it. Let's have a pajama day. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Where you are today is not where you're going to stay. And no distractions, I'll say, instead of alcohol, drugs, and sex, no distractions while you're working. You want to be mentally focused on your work, and that's how you're going to get the best work done. So I think those rules really do apply to nonfiction writing. You'll see in the second half there, he starts to veer a little bit, but I think he has so much that's good to say. Obviously, this worked really well for him, but I think it's absolutely the kind of things that nonfiction writers can use to help their writing process as well. Hope that's helpful for you. Please let me know if it is in the comments. Let me know if it is or not in the comments. If you have other tricks and tips and strategies that you use to make your writing time as productive as possible, also let us know in the comments. And if you'd like more tips around writing, anecdotes, stories, and the occasional very cute dog photo, you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter at rickiheller.com/subscribe. All right, everybody, I will see you next time. Have a great week.